We had the pandemic. We had
Yeah,
a lot that's going
yeah,
with the music industry.
yeah,
Shifts and changes.
yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of the people that were considered moguls
yeah,
are either on the run
yeah,
and fled the country.
yeah,
Someone that you grew up with, Russell Simmons.
yeah, yeah. One of my educators in the music and mentors at Rush Artist Management, who's out there in Bali, I believe, now doing yoga, and but he's had some allegations as relates to the sex things with young girls or whoever and whatever, and that's a big thing right now with this whole Epstein file thing, and we have a lot of politicians involved in that, a lot of so-called celebrities involved in that, a lot of artists involved in that, and it's come back to haunt them. What you do in the dark, right? No matter what it is, it's gonna come to the light sooner or later. And the seventh seal has been broken, right? So you really can't hide from what the truth is no more. So stop living your lie. Just come on out, plead guilty, and take your charges like a man or a woman.
Yeah.
Because if not, you still gonna get it through your own iniquity, and that is heavy.
Yeah.
So just deal with whatever you do wrong, come to grips with it, and deal with it accordingly. That's it. So yeah, it's a lot going on, God.
So can you speak on some of your experiences with Russell?
My biggest experience with Russell was just the interface at Rush Artist Management, going to his house, when he was living in the city, and also, seeing him in Queens and Hollis, which is where we from, the north side, and interfacing in that area. I was also involved with Russell as it relates to the movie Crush Group, where my first woman, the mother of my first child, was in as one of the Fat Boy's girlfriends at the end of the movie. So that's what my interface. Now, a lot of times my real interaction was with Leor and a brother by the name of Big D, whose son, who I used to take care of per se and drive around with his mother back in the day when Big D had his limousine service. Big D's son is now allegedly the killer of Jam Master Jay. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about that, it's like, wow, this little dude that was small, now he's, unfortunately was indicted and found guilty of murdering Jam Master Jay. You think about the elements we come from, right? A lot of people don't know who Big D was. I know, because I was with him. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. And Big D see this, he gonna know, oh, that's the God life right there. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that I would say about Russell that I can't say because I wasn't with him like that. But I will say that he was ahead of his time. I will just say, as a businessman, most people don't realize the business of hip hop is Queens. That's the business of hip hop. Now, the beginning of hip hop is Pelon, the Bronx. That's what it is. You know what I mean? The crooks of hip hop is Brooklyn. And so-called the hustlers of hip hop would say it's Harlem. But the business of hip hop, the business is Queens all day. And there's nobody could dispute that, you know what I mean? I grew up on Farmers Boulevard. So now we're gonna run down here. So when we talk about where we got the knowledge and wisdom from, right here on this corner is where Supreme Mind used to live. This is his grandmother or his mother used to live downstairs.
Wow.
And that's what he taught us. Now, I just talked to God Supreme, right? You know what this brother's still doing? He said, yo, I gotta go make money to wholesale. He's been doing that since I met him. And he's still doing it to this day. That's what you show, that's how you know, God. Consistency, man.
Right.
Consistency, God. You're giving me Supreme Mind right now, too. That's where I got my knowledge and wisdom from, right here, on this corner. And what Supreme Mind used to do, he used to tell us to get up early in the morning so that we can go ahead and do the wholesaling. God is still doing that shit to this day. You know what I mean? I just got the phone with him, like I said, and he's like, yo, God, I told him to meet me. He's like, yo, I gotta go wholesale. You know what I'm saying? 113, Pizza, all my, solid rock brothers, you know who I'm talking about on Farmers, who grew up in the 70s and 80s where I grew up. Real brothers, man. Real brothers out there doing real things. So, Queens, will always be the heart of where I was raised. I was, raised in Brooklyn, so I got the best of both worlds. But the majority of my teenage years and coming up as a young adult before I went in the military was Queens. So that was my running with Russell. And then of course I dealt with other people who worked with Russell, John and my brother Will Robinson, and many others. Chris Lighty, unfortunately he passed away due to untimely death, unfortunately, and many others who I've come across in the music game. And I'm so glad that I had my start there, working in the music business. And
so overall, what were some of the things that being in that business has taught you about life?
Yeah. First, don't sell your soul, because the devil comes with payment. I've always held ground when it came to this. Those who worked for me or worked with me, you had to have 120 lessons before I even put you on payroll. And that's a fact. I will take you through 120 lessons to make sure you understood the program. That we not getting caught up in this music shit. We're gonna stick to what we know as God's, as in earth, as it relates to this nation. Now, after I realized you got that, now we can work. But until that, I wasn't just picking 85 to work with. It had to be somebody within the nation. I dealt with many brothers, some that are still here, some that are gone. One in particular, Born Justice, who have helped me in some areas in security when it came to that game. Allah Real was with me, just like how he was with the Wu-Tang when it came to certain things. And I was moving up in the ranks real fast because I did not subjugate myself to the issues that were going on within the game of entertainment. And I knew not to fall victim to none of it. So
you said you were moving up quickly.
Yeah.
You didn't want to, or you didn't adhere to.
I didn't advocate a lot of the nonsense behind the scenes that were going on.
Do you think that hindered you from getting to a level?
Yes.
In certain areas?
Yes. Yes. Let's elaborate on that a little bit. I held very high positions within the music business up until my departure in 2000, when I left to go back in the military in 2000. My last title that I held was at the Orchard for artist development and the urban music director for the Orchard, which was in Chinatown at the time. One of the things that I'm fortunate to say, you have a lot of fuckery going on in the business of music behind the scenes. A lot of people sell their soul for what they think is celebrity and think it's, this and that. And I was not going to do that. So,
explain to me. So we hear the term, sell your soul.
Yeah.
Like, what does that actually look like?
Sell your soul is kind of like, you do this for me, I'll do this for you. You look at the case of Puffy. We know that sister that he had the issue with wasn't a good singer, but she looked good. And he used her as a pawn for sexual exploits. It came back to bite him in the ass. That's selling your soul. Okay. Another part of selling your soul is doing people in the game dirty, like a lot of them do. They don't teach the artist the truth about the game. About, how do you really get paid in terms of ownership and owning your masters and understanding licensing agreement, understanding the contracts. Right, all of that. You got to tell the truth about that, right? The artists are there to provide a service to the consumer. The people behind the scenes, though, are only there to make the money and hoping that you're ignorant enough not to know the real deal of how the money. Publishing, catalogs. As you notice, a lot of people selling their catalogs now. Quincy Jones has sold his catalog. Quick money, right? Millions and millions of dollars. But the billions of dollars after that is what the people who are buying the catalogs want. Because copyrights, as you probably know, and I'm in school for all of this now, is your lifespan plus 70. So say I'm a writer of some dope songs. I'm making money off my royalties. My songs are registered where it needs to be registered. I'm getting money coming in. All these royalties coming in. Sync licensing, royalties, everything. I die. The day that I die, 70 years after that. So now my successors and my heirs get it. But what I didn't see in the law is like, what happens when the heirs die? So now you have to prepare that as owners, for your
your grandchildren. Your grandchildren can't get it.
You can't get it after 70 years unless it's put into a trust, right? Not a will. Trust. In God we trust, right? Something you would say, back of that dollar, and God we trust, right? So it's all of that needed to be dealt with in the game of entertainment.
And then the artists, I heard about this, the label, and they do this in boxing too, but the label will have a lawyer. Then they'll have the artist get with the label's lawyer to have that lawyer review the contracts when that's the lawyer who actually helped draw up the contract.
Right, without question.
So they're not going to give you all of the information.
So it's a conflict of interest. So really, so once again, I'm in school for law, but not to be an attorney. I was going to be that, and I changed my mind. Why? Because I didn't want to be caught up with the laws of being an attorney. Because now you have to go to the bar to practice as an attorney within that jurisdiction. Bar means British accredited. You're registered with the British. You become a British lawyer in that sense of that, because you're registering with them. They're the ones who handle all of that. So you're not really, and some will say, I may not know what I'm talking about, but I read the law. I know what it is that there's a difference between an Esquire and if you just have a JD. Right? JD just said I went to school and got a Juris Doctorate for 3 to 4 years, and I'm not practicing law, but I am a lawyer by that sense. The bar says I went, when you have somebody says Esquire at the end, is I practiced and now I studied and passed the bar, which makes me an Esquire. Now that's a legal term saying that I'm acting on behalf of those who gave me the license to perform. Well, who's that? Who gives you the license to do your job? Which is why lawyers are I should say, put in position where they have to finalize, or should I say, follow these guidelines in order to practice. If you're not, your license could be stripped. So who owns the license? So when I started reading all that, I said, you know what? I don't want to be constricted by the bar or anybody else. But I'm going to get that law degree, though, so that I can speak the language of the lawyer and understand where the lawyer is coming from, but I'm not caught up in the lawyer's world. So when we talk about sell your soul, it's about going against moral ethics to gain something. And in the end, the devil will give it to you because he ain't got nothing to lose. Remember, he got everything you want.
So there's something I think about. So there's certain artists, entertainers, actors, actresses.
Yeah.
There's some that may not have a lot of talent, but they're into everything. They get opportunity after opportunity. So I would often think to myself, there's people way more talented than this individual. Why are they able to keep booking gig after gig?
Well,
what are they doing?
A lot of them are giving up their ass. I'm gonna be as blunt as I can be. A lot of them are giving up their body parts for validation, for celebrity, for money, for opportunity. Some is based upon design. Some are based upon they chose that way of life. Some of them are, what we call undercovers, down low people, pretending to be this, and behind doors, they doing all types of shit. And you see it. I'm quite sure you see brothers coming out telling another brother, well, I saw you do this and I saw you do that, but then you over here saying this. Well, which one are you? It's all of that. So you
not wear dresses.
Oh man, that's a whole, listen, let me not even get into that subject matter. You wearing a dress, something wrong with you. I don't care what fashion statement you making. You making a statement. And ain't nothing fashionable about a man in a dress. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, for all you sensitive types, because you're wearing mascara and all that stuff, that has nothing to do with me. That's your problem. My problem is this. It's the wrong image to give young people. If that's what you want to do on your own, you go ahead and do that. But don't force that into the young mind thinking that's the way to get ahead, because it's not.
So